Welcome back. Friday edition of the Mark Arum Show, the Valentine's Day edition of the Mark Arum Show. Actor John Ashton will join us in just a second. Deb Green found this amazing story about the dating apps in Atlanta. So we brought in Randy from the digital desk, who might be the only one that would ever, of us, that would be on the dating apps. Mm-hmm. I know you got a bow now, but it said the most swiped right neighborhoods in Atlanta from Tinder. You have any guess what the most swiped? That means they accept, right? You swipe right, and that means you accept them, right? So what would be the most swiped right neighborhoods in Atlanta, Randy?
That's a good question. I'm not even familiar with the neighborhoods. I know the counties.
Where do you hang out at?
Like Midtown. I like to hang out in Midtown.
Okay.
So
all right,
maybe
that was number 3.
Okay.
On the most swiped right.
Oh, Buckhead as well.
Buckhead was number 4.
Oh.
I'll go from the bottom. There's 8 of them. East Atlanta is number 8.
They were ugly.
Wow. Number 7, Inman Park.
Okay.
Number 6, Brookhaven. I could see that.
Oh, I had a nice coffee date there.
Yeah. Number 5, West Side. I guess that's my
they too
neighborhood.
hood.
I'm West Side. Easy.
Oh, sorry. Excuse me.
Number 4, Buckhead. Number 3, Midtown. The top 2 surprised me, Randy. Number 2, Old Fourth Ward.
Oh, I can totally see that.
Really?
Isn't that where like Pont City Market is and the belt lines all around
That makes
there?
sense.
Yeah.
Your favorite place?
Yeah, the belt
Yeah,
line.
I've never been to. Anyway, we'll keep. And the number 1 most swiped right neighborhood in Atlanta. This is Tinder, by the way, for folks that don't know. It's a dating app where you can. I don't know how it works.
You see a picture, right?
You see pictures, and if you like the picture, swipe right, and if you don't like it, you swipe left.
Swipe right. See, I would best that.
Like
up.
right, you are right for me. Left, you got to go. Like Beyonce said, to the left, to the left.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. So that's how you do. And then if they swipe back, you guys are able to message, or how does
Yes,
that
and we
work?
both swiped right on each other.
All right. And then you take it from there.
You got it.
All right. So, all right. So the most swiped right neighborhood in Atlanta, I guess this means that has the most attractive people, is the Virginia Highlands.
Oh,
Okay, I can
yeah.
kind of. I thought about that one.
Love
That's
to
the
hang
good
out in
one.
the Highlands when I
I'm
first
so
moved here.
rarely in the Virginia Highlands, Chuck. You ever been there?
No.
Yeah.
I got
don't
my
even know
nails
where
done
that
there.
is.
It's just so. Well, I guess with Uber now it's easier, but back in the day, if you wanted to go out to dinner and drinks, like it's just so difficult to get to.
But it was a great place to go out to have dinner and drinks.
Yeah, when I went, it was okay. But apparently, they have the best-looking people in Atlanta. They are the most swiped right neighborhood in Atlanta. Where do you live, Randy?
I live in Midtown.
All right, I'd swipe right.
Oh,
you
We're all
popped up.
swiping right on
oh,
you.
you guys are so kind.
I'd swipe right on you. All right, thank you, Randy. Have a happy Valentine's Day. You look fantastic, all dressed up in red.
Thank you. You too. Bye, guys.
Hey, from Randy to a famous Hollywood movie star. Here's John Ashton. Loyal listeners to the Mark Arum Show know every Monday we do a thing called Movie Mondays, and I'm very excited to have our next guest from one of my favorite films, actually 2 of my favorite films. But we'll start with one. It's John Ashton from Beverly Hills Cop and Midnight Run. Mr. Ashton, a pleasure to have you on the show. How are you, sir?
Good, Mark. How are you?
Excellent. So I can't believe this, that it's been 30 years since Beverly Hills Cop just changed the landscape of movie history. It seems like it was just yesterday that thing came out.
I know. It's amazing. And it's amazing what they can do with makeup these days. I can't believe it. I was only 15 years old when I did it.
I mean, as a child of the 80s, when that movie came out, it was just like, oh, my God, this is the coolest movie ever. You've got Eddie Murphy at the height of his popularity doing a cop buddy film with not one but 2 buddies. You as, of course, Sergeant John Taggart. Did you know how big a hit that movie was going to be when you were making it?
I don't really think about things like that when I'm working. I do the job and I get there and do it. And, no, actually, it was, we had a lot of fun doing it. And, we were just hoping it was going to be a good film. And we didn't realize it was going to be such a huge hit. And I remember going to the premiere with Judge and everybody, and of course you're at the premiere with a bunch of people in the business, so it got a great reception there. And then the next night, Judge and I said, hey, let's go to a regular theater and just see what the regular audiences feel like, So we went to the theater in Westwood, and we sat up on the balcony and stuff, and the audiences are going crazy and laughing, and we looked at each other, and we said, we better get out of here before the end of the movie, because we're going to get swamped. So we left, and it was amazing. It was amazing. And then, I went back to New York and did a bunch of, Good Morning America, and we did a bunch of shows back there, and people on the streets were stopping us, and it was unbelievable. It was really unbelievable. It was really, really fun.
Talking to John Ashton, star of Beverly Hills Cop, 30 years ago. That legendary, actually 35 years ago, I misspoke. It's 35 years. I'm that old, John. Holy smokes. That's
35, I know.
That's unbelievable. You must have been, as soon as that movie hit the theaters, the next week, you were getting recognized wherever you went, right? The gas station, the supermarket. I mean, that's how popular that movie was.
Oh, I know. I remember I was at a supermarket getting some groceries, and in L.A., and I was living in L.A., obviously, and I was in the grocery store getting groceries, and a bunch of guys came up to me and said, "Hey, man, what are you doing in here?" And I said, "Well, sometimes I get hungry. I want to eat. I'm shopping." It's like, and it was crazy. It was everywhere we went. It's quite an honor too. So I was glad that I was able to do it. And to be honest with you, Marty Brest, who directed the first one, was just, and I love Marty, and he also directed me in Midnight Run. And he brought performances out of people that were just incredible. He's a great director, and I really owe it all to Marty. He let Judge and I create those characters, and because on paper, they weren't that big of characters, and but every time we got to a scene, Marty would let us ad lib, and most of those all got in the movie, and we started out as kind of minor characters and ended up being co-stars of the movie, so
probably
I
the most
give all the credit to Marty.
Probably the most relatable characters of Beverly Hills Cop were you and your partner, and certainly came across on screen. You and Judd had great chemistry. Eddie was really young when that movie was made and it came out. What was it like working with a young Eddie Murphy?
Well, it was great. I mean, he's a talented guy, man. And he, the fact that Marty let us do stuff. I mean, Eddie brought stuff to the character that, because originally it was written as a very serious movie, and then all of a sudden when Eddie was going to do it, it turned into a comedy, and then it was originally Mickey Rourke was going to do it, and then Sylvester Stallone was going to do it, and then it went to Eddie, So it went through a lot of transgressions, and then when Eddie did it, it became a comedy, and he brought all that, because he's a very creative guy, and then and having Marty let us just wing it and do stuff, it turned the whole movie around, and Eddie was great. We had a blast together.
To this day, I will never fall for the banana in the tailpipe. You mentioned Midnight Run.
Well, I know. I get that all the time. It's really funny because Judge and I we were just back in Edinburgh, Scotland at a Comic-Con, and it's really funny. People bring up plastic bananas for us to sign and stuff. It's really funny. That's one of the big things of the movie. And originally, that was a potato in the tailpipe.
Oh no!
In the script, and Eddie changed it to a banana because he thought it was funnier, and it was.
Absolutely, 100%. I want to talk to you, if you don't mind, about Midnight Run, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. The classic Marvin Dorfler character, the lovable bounty hunter that was going heads up against Robert De Niro's character. Tell me about the experience of making a classic like Midnight Run.
Well, it was great. I mean, Marty again, was a terrific director in it, and we actually, it took us 6 months to do that film. We actually started in New York and worked our way across the country. So it was, the experiences, and it was just, we became family after 6 months, and it was great, and I loved playing the character, and I was so comfortable playing Marvin, and actually in the original script, he gets killed I get killed halfway through the movie, and as we were on the road for about a month or a month and a half, and then Marty finally said, "We can't kill Dorfler. The audience will hate us if we kill Dorfler." So George Gallo, who wrote it, had to get on the set and start rewriting, and then they put me in the end at the airport and screwing everything up. But originally in Las Vegas, when I show them the picture of the Duke and with the two mob guys in the parking lot, that's where in the original script they just shoot me. And then, so we ended up, we got to that scene to shoot, and then Marty goes, "Hey, wait a minute now, you don't die now." So what are we going to do? And I said, just have them knock me out. You know, and they said, oh, great. Okay, good idea. So, yeah.
What's
so,
funny is,
I love playing the character.
Obviously, Jack Walsh is the protagonist there, and we want to root for him. But, I mean, we can't not help but root for Dorfler as well. I mean, he was such a lovable guy. Like, you didn't maybe necessarily want to see him bring the Duke in, but you didn't want to see anything bad. I think the theater would have revolted if they killed off Marvin.
Yeah, that's the way Marty felt. And then, you know, also, and then I went, after I knew I was going to live through the rest of the movie, I went to the producers and I said, hey, I got a great idea for the ending. And they said, what? And I said, instead of the cab pulling up, why doesn't Marvin pull up in the car and Jack gives him $25,000 for a ride downtown, because that's what he was supposed to get if he brought the Duke in. He was supposed to get $25,000.
Yeah.
And they said, "Oh man, what a great idea!" But we already shot that scene, so we didn't do it.
That would have been fantastic. You know what? Let's recreate that. I want to see Marvin get his payoff. That would have been perfect. What a great idea. Well, Mr. Ashton, this has been a pleasure. Huge fan. Beverly Hills Cop, 35 years old, and of course, Midnight Run. What an amazing performance as Marvin Dorfler. As by the way, I found out you grew up in Connecticut. That's where I'm from. So, fellow nutmegger
really?
on the
Whereabouts?
show. Torrington, which is like the northwest corner.
Sure, I know. I grew up in Enfield, which is right near Springfield. I was actually born in Springfield, Mass, and grew up in Enfield, Connecticut, which is right across the border. So,
absolutely,
cool.
always great to see a Connecticut guy do well in life. If you're ever in Atlanta, look us up.
I actually went to the Connecticut School of Broadcasting in Hartford,
Oh,
too.
nice. Very cool. Good old CSB. Well, it served you well. John, if you're ever in Atlanta, look me up. We'll break bread, my friend.
You got it, Mark. Pleasure talking to you.
Likewise. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Hang tight. We'll be right back. It's the Friday edition of The Mark Arum Show.